good day, this 155th day, Meaningful Moments, 365 days. The meaningful moment that I wanted to speak about today was all about meditation misconceptions. And I want to share with you a couple of little stories on why this became a meaningful moment for me today. So a couple of weeks ago, I was tuned in to a really good friend of mine who, is a master in his own right with the work that he does and the abundance and mindset coaching that he does. And there were lots of different, people, hundreds of people involved in the chat and commenting on meditation and things like that. And I was listening to a lot of different reasons that I didn't even know why people were meditating, like as in calling something into manifestation, those kinds of things, which was interesting to me because meditation is a tool, like many tools. And for me personally, it's been a growth and a development. It isn't something that, I learned one mindful practice and then boom, that was it, knew how to do it, and it just stayed stagnant. It was something that was ever evolving and continues to be ever evolving. So I found it interesting because while I think that the idea of focus and intention to manifest is absolutely another tool, it doesn't fit with what I've learned to be meditation. And meditation for me has been about opening up that clear channel within myself, that balancing that happens, that flow of life, the freeing of the mind to open up myself to be a vessel for that pure flow of energy to move through me. Now, there's a lot of different levels as to how I arrived at that and how I work with that today. And absolutely it can be used, as you open yourself up to the abundance in the world. But it's not so intentional as in setting intentions at that moment. And I'm sure you can use meditation with that, but that idea of this flow of energy moving through you just to open up space is on so many levels. It's really about that calibration that we do to align the energies in our own body. So I'm always learning, and even meditation is no different from anything else in life. We continually learn and deepen in all our practices. So even though it's been a practice of mine like my whole life in many different ways, there are a few misconceptions that I wanted to address today. One is that, you have to be in this position doing yoga, having beautiful music in the background as I do today, and the way it's done. So what I didn't know right away is, I had disciplines and there were ways I practiced it. And what I came to find later is that, oh yes, that stilling of my mind and that entering into that meditative state can happen anywhere. Sometimes it's lost in the movement of dancing, which when I realized that, I was like, oh yeah, that's what happens when I'm dancing, and everything sort of disappears and I'm one with the sound and the movement in my body. And people would comment on like, oh, where did you learn that or this or that? And I didn't. It was just truly a self-expression coming out from within myself in that state where I was just a free-flowing vessel and channel. I did it on the subway, when I lived in Chicago, and riding packed like a sardine with people, and just being able to center myself. I've done it in situations where the energy has been intense, in, what could be a negative kind of energy, or, in other ones where it's been ecstatic and, a really positive energy. Meditative states can be achieved anywhere, anytime. And when we use it to align ourselves with the energy in ourselves, and then how it correlates to everything out here around us, is a beautiful way to integrate that into our life. and our way of living. Last night, my husband had a pull that he's experiencing some pain, and many people um, come to meditation, when they're in a state of pain, um, different suffering, whether it's physical or emotional or mental, and then we want to still our mind and quiet ourselves to feel that relief that we get from being in a meditative state. So when he was in the work that we were doing last night energetically, and I was working on his body, and he entered into a meditative state, and we were working with that energy flow, and it came to me like, this is a clearing of your vessel. You want to be flowing free. And in this meditative state, we become receptive to receiving what it is that we're being informed of. Because we're being informed, not like as in just data kind of stuff, but our whole body as this being of intelligence, the mind and body, all one, not just like in the brain, but all one, is informing us. So that specific area that was hurting him had information for him. And by entering into that meditative state, he could actually go into that space in him, in his own self, in his own being, and ask, just inwardly open. Ask not like isn't, tell me what it is, but open to receive what it was that it was telling him. So that became really crystal clear to me about how that meditative practice works. And then when he spoke this morning to me about having entered that state for about an hour, because earlier this morning he wasn't able to sleep, and this allowed him to go into that space to just be able to be effective at working with that isolation of the movement and a position that was comfortable, and to effectively work with the pain at hand with breathing. So I thought about it then, and it informed me about how we have these ideas about what meditation does or doesn't do or whatever, and obviously it's always going to be up to what we believe and how we interpret and integrate all of it. But I wanted to share with you a couple of those pieces so that when you're working towards the idea of meditation, you understand that it's so much more than a specific thing. It's entering into that state and allowing that universal mind to work through you as the being that you are, connected to that source, and inform you. So you just open yourself to receive that, and you do that with the stilling of the mind. And that's such a powerful tool for every part of your life. So it's not just for one thing, or because I want to go and achieve this today or whatever it is. It's for everything. It can be asking yourself, what it is that your body is telling you, or what your body needs, or what it is that has to be worked on in this part of your own emotion, or something that's entered your awareness. It's just that opening to calibrate and align and balance yourself. And it's so freeing in that moment, so free, and that becomes more integrated in every part of your life. So freeing up the misconceptions of meditation today with you, and feeling that energy that flows from me to you and to all life everywhere. Aho, friends.